Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. It's Wednesday. What do we got going on? Dow Jones is up about 400. NASDAQ's up about 200. Market's in rally mode today. Okay, so on Monday, I started nibbling on the QQQ and the SPY. When the market was down, the Dow was down about 400 when I picked those up, and it had a reversal day. It rallied about 700 points. I thought I was a genius, but you know what? I didn't take them off. The next day, the Dow is down about 800 points. I go from genius to idiot. But now today, the Dow's up 400 points. I'm back to genius. What I'm saying is there's a lot of emotions involved in trading. I call myself a stock market gambler. Believe me, if you're in the stock market, you are gambling. Many stocks go to zero. They can and they do. I've had them. Take my word for that. Okay, so what do we got going? Well, I just want to talk a little bit about the short covering rally. The short covering rallies happen in the bear markets. Right now we have the NASDAQ and we have the Russell down below 20%, which technically means they're in a bear market. Now I am expecting them to bounce from here. Now will they go lower? Yes, they probably will. But some of the biggest rallies happen in bear markets. Why? Well, because it's short covering, right? So everybody piles in and they get short. So the market's going down, 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 down. But all of a sudden it has an update and all those short sellers, they're going, oh no, I got to get out. And it's a short covering rally, which pushes the market up higher. So I do expect that we're going to have a good size rally pretty soon, and then maybe come down and make a lower low. So what I'm saying is, stock market gambler, if you're in the stock market, you are gambling. Now, don't gamble with money you can't afford to lose. That's just good common sense. Now, okay, let's talk about the housing market. Now, once again, some people can afford to lose. If you bought a $20 million house with all cash and the market goes down by 50%, that house is still $10 million, right? You're probably going to be okay. You're probably going to be all right because you can afford the money. You paid all cash. You had $20 million extra dollars to just go write a check and buy a house. You're going to be okay. But let's talk about the average guy. All right. So the average guy, now, average house selling for about $400,000 right now. All right. Well, there's these things, we're in a hot market in many areas and people are in bidding wars and they bid above the asking price, above the market value, if you will. And let's say that $400,000 average home that you end up paying, well, let's say you end up paying $440,000 for it. You bought 10% above the market value, assuming the market value is $400,000. Well, now what happens? Well, the market value, let's say, the market turns, right? And the market value comes down by 10%, and that your house is only worth $360,000. Now you were diligent, you saved up 20% to put down on the house. So you put $80,000 down on the house that you bought for $440,000. Well, now that house is worth $360,000. Well, your $80,000 is gone, right? I mean, if you want to sell the house, you're going to have to pay more money just to get out, because the house typically has, well, let's just call it 6% in closing costs. You got to pay agents, you got to pay title companies. The house, there's a fee to get in, a fee to get out. It's just a transaction fee. It's just the way it works, okay? Well, so you don't want to be the bag holders, what I'm trying to say, in the nicest, politest way. Stop overbidding for houses. Now, we're in crazy times, and maybe you can explain this to me. Now, a lot of people, a lot of the younger crowd, now I'm kind of the older crowd, but a lot of the younger crowd, they like to buy real estate with an app on their phone. They flip through the houses and they see one they like. They got to click on the agent. They tell them they want to make an offer. Sight unseen. Why would you buy a house that you haven't seen before? people do with this. They're very common right now. Now, that's not my only complaint here, is when they're buying it sight unseen, a lot of times they actually, they waive the inspections. They go, oh, the house looks beautiful in the pictures. I'm going to waive my inspection. So you don't inspect the house. You don't know what's wrong with it. But it gets even crazier than that. They go, well, I'm paying $440, so I don't need an appraisal. I know this house is good. I can see it on my phone. I can see it. They buy houses off of an app on their phone. Now, as a real estate broker, there's been technology trying to replace us for the last 20, 30 years. They think that technology can replace the real estate broker. They think that, real estate's easy, right? You just go on your app and you buy it. Why do you need a real estate broker? Maybe you don't. Maybe you can do it that way. And I want someone to comment on that. Has anyone out there bought a house sight unseen? Now, I understand if you live in California and you get transferred to New York and you got to buy a house, I would fly out there to take a peek. You want to take a peek? It's free to look, right? And it's free. And inspections cost a little money, but you want to inspect the house. You want to know what's going on with it. Look, you can become the bag holder real easily here, because you're looking at $400,000 house that you're paying above market value for. And believe me, when we shift, which we are right now, we're shifting from that seller market into the buyer market, you're going to be holding the bag. Look at there. $20,000 in repairs on a home is not uncommon. I've seen $200,000, over $200,000. What's the highest I've seen? Just in repairs. If the house is off the foundation, oh my God. But look, you might not be able to tell that from your app. You may not be able to see that in the picture. You just might not be able to tell. But when you get out there and you go, oh, the floor's not so stable. Well, yeah, it's not on the foundation. Can you smell through the app? Can you get to smell? Look at pet odors. Maybe you got to gut all the carpets. That's expensive, right? Maybe someone was a smoker in the house. And believe me, this one house I had to sell, they both were chain smokers. And we had that house painted. We threw out the curtains, but you could still smell the smoke. The smoke was in the walls. Oh man, I just hated it. I'm not a smoker. Maybe some of you are. Maybe some of you love the smell of smoke, but it really limits who you can sell the house to if you can't get the smell of smoke out of the house. So there's a lot of smells. There's no way that app can tell you what the house smells like. Anyway, I just don't get this. That's just a little bit of a rant, but things are changing. Things are changing. Now, what's going to change, Mike? Well, Inventory's at a record low. Well, Mike, where's the inventory coming from? Well, it's going to be sad, but it's going to come from a lot of these bag holders. Look, when you buy that house for $440,000 and that house was only worth $400,000 and it drops 10% to $360, and all of a sudden you have to move for different reasons, whatever it may be, you're not going to be able to sell that house. So you go, wow, I'm underwater. This is terrible. I'm going to stop paying on it. So you stop paying on it. Well, guess what? The bank comes and takes it. Foreclosure tsunamis come, and just take my word for that. Things are changing. Look, I'll be willing to bet you that the inventory that we have right now doubles by the end of summer. And by this time next year, it could triple or quadruple. There's going to be a flood of homes coming on the market. These foreclosures, they're fascinating. Now, my last episode, I talked a little bit about property taxes out here in California. But you go to some of these states, let's just take Texas, for example. They have a 3% property tax. 3%. Now, let's say you bought your house for $200,000 before the pandemic. A couple years before, maybe you bought bought it for $200,000. But the pandemic hit and all these Californians flooded Texas. Now that $200,000 house is, let's call it $700,000. Okay, so it went up by $500,000. Well, guess what? You get a bill for $15,000 on top of your regular taxes that you were already paying $6,000. So now your property tax is $21,000. Not everybody has $21,000 a year. So what do? They have to sell the house. And if they have equity, and now when it went from 200 to 800, you got equity. And that's what I don't understand. Why do we have so many foreclosures coming on when houses have done nothing but go up? Can't they just sell? Can't they get out? Well, here's what happened. A lot of people, they went out and they borrowed money on their house. They borrowed as much as they can. They used their house like an ATM machine. Look at every time they needed a payment, they went out and got $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 loan, refinanced it. But now you can't refi because you're at 3%, 5%. So now they're going out and getting those home loans. Well, a lot of banks aren't giving those home loans. Look at Wells Fargo. Man, they just laid off probably the entire mortgage department. I don't know, over 1,000 layoffs in just Wells Fargo. Better.com, that online mortgage company, they're becoming a ghost town over there. They're just letting people go right and left. Rocket Mortgage laying people off right and left. Title companies. I work with title companies. A lot of these people, they're worried about their jobs. That's right, their jobs. Well, if there's no business, they got to let them go. I mean, it's just the way it works. I feel sorry for them, but that's how it works. But would you seriously buy a home, sight unseen, without any inspection, without an appraisal, above the market value? Would you do that? If you would do that, you will be the bag holder. I'm telling you, you're going to be a bag holder. Stop doing this. Do not buy a home on an app. Go take a look at it. Get the inspections. Get the appraisals. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. I'm Tall Mike. Get out there, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.